How did you arrive here?
An angel brought me. No, I'm joking. I had work to do in Australia, Perth, Australia to be exact. Went over there to do some clinics, coaching clinics, and I looked up flights from Australia to Bali, and I saw it was close, so I had to get myself down here.
Nice. And how's your experience been so far here?
It's been short. Didn't have enough time, but it's been amazing. The connection with the people, the food, the spirituality. It's everything that I came for, and it's been wonderful.
Amazing. And so where are you actually from originally?
From the East Coast, the DMV, Maryland to be exact, PG County, and that's where I'm from originally, but now I reside in California.
And so what was that like growing up then?
Oh, the PG County experience was crazy. I'm from the projects, lots of drugs, lots of killing. Oftentimes I would have to, step over dead bodies going, to the bus to get to school. So that experience was crazy, but wonderful at the same time, right? Because the community still is a community of love and respect and acceptance, and people can't really understand how it could be one thing and another. But it is a place where I felt very safe and I felt very loved, even though there was chaos going on all around me.
And do you still go back and visit?
All the time. My entire family is in Maryland, with the exception of my mother and my children. But I am often in Maryland hanging out with my grandmother and my aunts and uncles and trying my best to stay connected to family, even though I'm 3,000 miles away.
And so when and how did you end up leaving?
I left because my mother was courageous enough to step outside of the box that was Washington Heights, which was our projects, and outside of Landover to pursue a career. So she was able to work in New York for a bit, and then moved to California and started working there. And so she pulled me away from Maryland, kicking and screaming. I definitely did not want to leave, but as I tell her now, she left for me, not really for her.
And did you have siblings as well that also?
I'm my mother's only child. I have a sister on my father's side, so I'm the only one that she had to drag away, for sure.
Yeah. And so tell us a little bit about how you got into basketball.
In Maryland, we really didn't have organized sports. So, I played, football just in the grass with my friends, and the basketball court that we played on was actually on a slant going this way. So how we were able ever to play, I don't understand. But athletics was just a love of mine. And so it was a way for me to release and, get rid of pent up energy or anger. And so I was able to, use that in that way, even when I was in the projects with nothing organized. But when I moved to California, that was the way that I connected with people and found new friends. I played on the AAU youth basketball team, and that was really the beginning of me playing organized basketball and starting to understand it at a high level.
And so now you're currently a coach at Sierra Canyon.
Yes.
So how did you get into that, and how long have you been a basketball coach for?
I've been coaching in Southern California for about 20 years now. I did not want to coach basketball. I played basketball in college. I played at Cal State Northridge and was lucky enough to be a starter early in my career. And I ended up breaking multiple records. So I'm in the Hall of Fame at CSUN. And so I did not expect coming out of that to do anything around basketball. I went into business. I worked in Warner Brother Records, did college marketing, then I worked in the bank. I think, sometimes God takes you to places that you don't expect to be or don't want to be because it's your destiny and your gift. And so I think that's what happened to me. I was pulled continually into basketball.
Wow. And so what were some of the challenges that you faced during your career as a basketball coach?
I mean, my flow into basketball is pretty easy because I play the point position. But if I had to say one thing today, the hardest thing to deal with is the parents because a lot of them have unrealistic expectations. Some of them are putting undue pressure on their kids. So that's one of the big issues today. Before I was at Sierra Canyon, I was at a public school. And at the public school, it's quite different, right? Because the parents are just excited that you are keeping their kids out of trouble, you're keeping them busy, you're creating a mentee relationship. And so that was wonderful during that period of time. And now I'm just trying to really recreate that now at this level. And tell the parents, if you trust me, then you should just trust me because I only have your kids' best interests at heart. And so I might push them in ways that you don't like, but I'm pushing for the betterment of them and to help them to achieve every dream and every goal that they have in their life.
Beautiful. And what would you say is a misconception that people think about you that isn't true?
I'm a bit quiet, so I think people, because I'm quiet, will think that I'm conceited or stuck up or don't have time or passion for other people. And so I think that's the biggest misconception. When I turn into Coach Dre, I'm different, right? Like I'm intense. The way that I speak and coach is loud, it's aggressive. And so people would think that that's really who I am as a person. But that's not who I am as a person. And I'm super introverted, even though I'm in front of the camera quite a bit. I'm more of an introvert than anything else.
And would you say that you feel now and have felt supported?
Supported from who?
Supported from, let's say, the community, the Black community specifically. And people back home.
I think that people, from a distance, I think support me because I think they can see from the documentaries and other things what I'm trying to do with my mentorship. But I think sometimes within the game, other Black coaches, especially in the area, are looking at me thinking that I'm trying to maybe eliminate them or do something to stop them from winning. When I'm really trying to create a pathway for them to be successful and do great things.
So how do you stay motivated then?
I'm self-motivated for the most part. I'm here to achieve something great. I'm here to support, young Black boys, young Black men at the highest level. And so I stay motivated because of them and because of the work that I'm here to do. So motivation it's not hard. Like, I know what I'm here to do, and I try to do that every day at a high level. And so that doesn't take a whole lot of pushing or motivating.
Yeah. What does success look like for you?
Success is seeing my kids go off and do great things in society. I have kids who are in the NBA, kids who are in college, but I'm just as excited about the ones who are doctors, lawyers, starting their own businesses, doing things like that. So to me, that is the success of being a coach. It is the mentorship side of it. It's the brotherhood that's created. It's the family that's created. And when your family does well, you're excited about it. So I'm always excited to see them grow and contribute at a very high level.
And how do you stay inspired?
That's a great question. I think I'm very inspired by the game and the evolution of the game and the new intricacies and things that are coming as a result of NIL and the kids with Instagram being able to create and build their own brands. So I stay inspired by that. I stay inspired by the 7-year-old that I'm going to eventually coach. The people who are coming in the next 4 to 5 years who I might be able to influence, support, mentor, and take them to places that they never thought that they could go before.
So I wanted to talk about something a little bit different, and I want to kind of tap into your your journey of self-love and what that's looked like for you. Because you're living a completely different life now than you were raised in, right? So what's that look like?
The self-love journey was probably a bit different for me than anybody else, right? Because the transition from poverty to middle class to doing okay for myself, I think that's a journey in itself. Just getting to a place where you can see that you fit in, that you feel comfortable using your voice and being expressive. And so I think that transition for most people is like, what they do to create self-love for themselves. But because I was born with a disability and a difference, I think my journey to self-love was about acceptance of myself first. Loving myself at the highest level, creating a certain level of respect for myself, seeing myself in a loving way. And so I think I think was the first obstacle for me, was getting over the fact that I was different. The fact that I look different and have differences made me always fight to be good enough, fight to be equal, fight to say that I'm the same as everyone else. But my difference is what makes me different. I think my difference is seen where others, can hide their difference, but I think we all have them. And so self-love has to be found by everybody, and everybody's journey is different. But my journey has been tough, but wonderful.
And did you ever feel like with these differences that you just wanted to give up at any point?
Oh, no. I never wanted to give up. I think I probably fought harder because of my difference, right? It is the thing that makes me who I am today, the person that will fight continually to be great, to create something great. The challenge of, being equal to somebody or surpassing them, it might be tougher for me, and I have to put in more time. But I think that time is what made me work at the level that I work now, because I'm always proving that I am who I am, that I deserve to be here. And so that was always my fight, like working extra hard. So now I'm probably a workaholic now. I don't know if that's because of my hand or because of my Capricorn, but I love work. I do work. And now I love myself. I know that I deserve to be here. I'm supposed to be here. And so it's a wonderful journey to get to the place where you achieve self-love and know that you are valued and special.
So you just mentioned that you're a Capricorn, so I wanted to, when is your birthday?
December 31st.
Ooh.
So I say I am the end and the beginning. I am the end and the beginning.
And so are you spiritual, religious?
I started off very Christian, but now my religion is my relationship with God. So I think that most people would say that that's spiritual, but I am connected to God at the highest level. I have a wonderful relationship with God. He speaks to me, I speak to him. I try to do more listening than I do speaking, because most times people are talking too much to really hear. So I really want to just like listen and hear. But I guess we could say I'm spiritual, but I really don't like to be defined when it comes to religion. So I'll say again, my religion is my relationship with God.
And what are you trying to accomplish right now?
What am I trying to accomplish? I am trying to be my best self and do what I'm here to do every single day with love, with affection, with caring, with mentorship, and with connectedness, for sure.
Should we have a couple of questions?
Yeah. What advice? Question you asked.
Yeah, I was going to ask that last. I was seeing if you had any others to ask now.
Besides that, and then maybe.
Okay. If you could, let's say there's a time machine, and you could go back in time to your 10-year-old self,
Mm-hmm.
what advice would you give him?
Oh, I would say live your greatest life because everything is going to work out. Everything always works out for your favor. I think a lot of times we go through life worrying about even what is and what's going to be, and we lose sight of the moment. And so enjoy the moment and just know that whatever it is for you is going to be for you, no matter what anybody tries to do or what anybody tries to take from you. You are going to have and get what's yours. Use it wisely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what advice would you give the young kid from DC who wants to be the next, superstar?
And what advice would you give to the young kid in DC who wants to be that next superstar?
I would tell them to read as many books as they can, to explore the internet so they can see outside of their box. I would tell them to travel to the next state, to the next country, to the next city, get outside of your box so that you can see what's different, but you can see what's possible. I think that growing up, the only way that we could see possibility was in a magazine or on a television. And so I would just say, travel the world, explore, find yourself, and just be okay with that. Be okay with finding yourself and loving yourself. But I think the way to do that is by traveling, is by stepping outside of your box, is by thinking and being different.
Is there a book that you would recommend? A book or, let's say a book. Is there a book that you recommend?
There are two books that I really try to read every year and stay locked into that changed my life. One is called The Shack, and it is a book about forgiveness. I'm not going to ruin it for you, but I think it's life-changing. And the other is The Four Agreements. It just speaks of 4 things that you can do in your life to make sure that you have a great life, but also that you are contributing to the lives of others. So The Shack and The Four Agreements.
What has basketball taught you?
Ooh, that's a good question. What has basketball taught you?
Basketball has taught me everything. Basketball is, I think, indicative of life, right? Every situation, circumstance, problem, issue that you can think of in life, it comes up in basketball and around basketball. So it has taught me how to deal with problems, how to deal with people, how to discipline myself, how to think outside the box, how to be creative. It really has taught me everything. And I think that's why it is such a wonderful tool to mentor young black and brown men across the world.
What is it like being in the spotlight all the time?
Chaotic is the word I'm gonna say. It's a bit of chaos, but I think it's necessary because what we try to do at Sierra Canyon is give our kids the same experience that they're gonna have at the next level with the cameras and the fame and the travel so that they can be prepared. And so because I'm doing this for them, I'm going to take the hit and let the cameras enjoy all that they are, show all that they are, and let them build their brands and become great. But it is chaotic at times, especially since I'm introverted.
Yeah, and does it get overwhelming at times?
Oh, great, yeah, overwhelming. It's that. Yeah, and when the camera's on you, almost every moment that you're in public, it definitely gets a little overwhelming and chaotic.
How do you manage personal life and work?
I just do it. You heard that Nike slogan? I just do it. It's something that has to be done. I think self-care is really a part of self-love. So I have to make sure I'm giving myself personal time, recovery time, love time at a very high level because I am in the throes of it a whole lot. So I think balancing that is very important, right? So I try to work hard, play hard, and rest well. That's my combination. It's my balance.
And what is your self-care? Do you have a specific self-care routine?
I don't have a specific self-care routine. I give myself what I need when I need it. But I definitely do a lot of meditation and a lot of yoga. And I think that keeps me grounded. It allows me to continue to flow and stay locked into who Andre is at a high level.
And how long have you been meditating for?
Knowingly, I would probably say like 7 or 8 years. But prior to that, I was doing quiet time and walks in the park or hikes around California. And that really is truly meditative as well. But sitting quietly, locking into God, probably 7 or 8 years.
And other than basketball, of course, what else are you passionate about?
Ooh, what am I passionate about? As I said, the mentorship of young men is a great passion of mine. I am super passionate about travel. I try to travel as much as I can, see as much of the world as I can. I have a goal to touch every continent before I leave here. So I'm super passionate about that, and I am passionate about reading because I think that's the way to see things without seeing things. So I would say read a lot.
Right.
Read a
and
lot.
so, that's interesting as well because you said before about getting people to travel. So maybe the first step is like reading first before you can travel. Maybe.
Yeah. Any time that you can get the perspective of somebody else, especially somebody from another country, or read about something where somebody is traveling, and you get to experience through their words what they are experiencing. I think it opens up your mind and allows you to discover new things, see new things, and then through that you become courageous and curious. And so I think you start to actually try to find those places and go to those places for yourself to see how they are going to touch you. Yes.
And how did your mind change when you started to travel?
Well, I think everything changed about my thinking when I started to see the reality of what life was, and houses with white picket fences, all things that are real, started to be like, what's the word I want to say? The things that are real started to show themselves to me instead of just being in a book or a magazine. So I think that the travel, the moving from Maryland to California allowed me to start to see things differently, and it opened up my mind. Can I get water now?
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to fill you up.
That's cool. Yeah.
Traveling. What kind of travel do you do? Like, are you one of those that, you just get like your fancy resort, or like what does travel look like for you?
I am, most of the time, I'm a fancy resort type of guy, because I do enjoy the amenities of the places the fancy places, because they take care of you at a high level. And usually I'm going for the first couple of days to rest, but after my rest, then I really try to get connected to the people, to the community. I try to step outside of the resort and live the life of the people that are in whatever country, city that I'm in, to see how they really live. Not from the perspective of tourist versus worker, but I want to dive deep into what they eat, where they hang out, what their culture is, how they talk to each other, how they laugh. So although I am going to start at the big resort and the high class places, before the trip is over, I will dive deep into the people And so I think it's very important to always dive into the people because every culture has something to teach you. And I want to learn as many lessons as I can from traveling the world and from the people of the world.
Top 3 places.
Africa is one. Just because I just feel like that's where I'm from, is my world, my life. So that's one. Thailand's 2. For sure, Thailand is 2 because of the people, because of the food. I think because of the Buddhism that they practice, you can feel the love coming through the people, even though they don't have a lot. So I say Thailand. And then I'm going to have Costa Rica would have to be my 3rd. It's just tropical and wonderful. And the music and the people and all that stuff is great. So those are my top 3 right now. Right now. Bali might be fighting to get in there. Bali might be fighting, but I didn't have enough time in Bali, so I will be back here for sure.
Yeah. Where's next on the list?
When I get home, I have quite a bit of travel, like from city to city, for the basketball stuff, so that I can make sure I'm checking on my kids and make sure they're doing well. Probably gonna get pulled back to Australia for basketball and work, but then I'm going to Europe with the team in August. So we're going to Spain, Italy, and Greece. So those are my work trips. I don't know where my next personal trip is gonna be at.
Maybe back to Bali.
Could be. You never know what the universe has for you. Could be.
If you had 30 days left to live, what would be 3 things on your bucket list?
Oh, I already travel a lot, so I'll be trying to tap into every place on my bucket list. If I could just 10 days, if I could snap my fingers and be in a different place for the first 10 days, I would snap my fingers and go to the next 10 places on my bucket list. I'll definitely have conversations with my kids for 5 of those days just to make sure they're good and express my love for them. I would eat good food for 2 or 3 days for sure, because I think that is a way to show love to your soul and to touch your soul. And then I think I would just sit quietly and reflect on my amazing life. My amazing life.
No bungee jumps?
Nah, I'm good on my feet on the ground are just fine. I don't need no bungee jumps. I don't need no diving out of airplanes. None of that. I'm not saying if the opportunity presented itself, I might bungee jump, as long as it's over water. As long as it's over water, I might bungee jump, but I have no desire to skydive or do anything like that. No, I think that's what I would do. Yeah, I think everything else I pretty much, I snorkel, scuba dive, I've done all that stuff, so. I try not to leave no stones unturned. If I have an opportunity, I'm going to try to do it. If I have an opportunity to eat new food, I'm pretty much vegan now, but when I was in Australia, they tried to get me to eat kangaroo, and I was like, I can't do it right now. If this was 10 years ago, I definitely would have dabbled, but I just can't put the meat in my system. I don't know what's going to happen if I eat meat right now.
That's so interesting that you're vegan. How long have you been vegan for?
Well, I've been vegan for I went crazy vegan probably 7 years ago. And then gradually the doctors was like, you need to add this and that and eggs and fish. And so I just kind of dabbled with a little bit of everything. But I think probably about 7 years ago. Every year prior to that, as a way of fasting, I would eliminate something from my diet for a full year. It was pork. Pork was 20 years ago. I saw something on the pig, and I was like, I'm never touching it. I'm never touching this meat, that meat again. So that got knocked out on its own. But then through my fast, my annual fast, the the beef and everything else just started falling away. So it was a transition into veganism for sure. But it's a wonderful life. You should try it.
Yeah. So what was the main reasons why you went vegan?
I have, it is not about saving the animals. It probably should be, but it was just really about my health, making sure that I was taken care of. Hopefully I won't have to use medication and things like that because my body is taking care of itself with the way that I'm feeding it and fueling it. So that's the main reason, just for health.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so interesting because a lot of people think that vegans are unhealthy and we're just skin and bone. So for someone who is maybe even an athlete who's wanting to be a little bit more plant-based or even vegan, what would your advice be to them?
I think do the research. I think these days it's way easier than it was back in the day. But I would also say if you're an athlete, you should look at the NBA and the NFL. Those guys are starting to recognize the benefit of having a plant-based diet, and they're healthy and strong. So if they can do it, you can do it too. It's probably a bit expensive in the United States to be vegan, but it is a way for you to do it, and I would encourage you to try it because it definitely helps performance and helps life at a high level.
And how does someone try that? Is it the process of elimination? Is it transitioning? Is it going cold turkey?
I'm gonna go back to what I talked about quite a bit in this interview. Start reading, right? Start reading, asking questions. When you start putting things out in the universe will send you answers and send you people to help you. So people know what plant-based is. I think probably the first step is trying to eliminate one meat out of your diet, right? Like start to crowd out what you've been eating by replacing it with fruits and vegetables and green leaves and those type of things. But some people go cold turkey, but it's okay to go gradual. There's benefit to that as well.
What was the biggest difference you noticed in yourself since you?
I probably dropped like 20 pounds because I was just eating. My body was probably shocked first of all, so I lost the weight. But I feel stronger. I have way more energy. I just think that it just supports my life. It definitely, I think, supports my spiritual life, right? My connection, to God, to the universe, whatever you might call them. I think it supports that as well. So I think it's more than just what's going on with your body. It's also your spiritual life, how you function, how you think. All that's affected by, eating cleaner.
Your favorite vegan dish?
I just had a Mongolian beef dish from Moxa in Ubud. So I'm gonna have to say that is number one on my list right now. I wouldn't have said that a week ago, but after 2 days ago, the Mongolian beef barbecue bomb dish from Moxa. Please try it if you come to Bali, please, for sure.
You're gonna have to fly all the way back to Bali just to have that.
Somebody gonna have to mail me some of that stuff or something. It was so good. I actually took a picture of the menu to try to recreate it, but I don't know what they did to the jackfruit to make it taste the way that it tastes. But OMG.